Ladies and gents, it's Friday, the weather is glorious, it's time for an alternative paper review. Don't betray our Royal Mail, says the Daily Mail. This is a story that Czech billionaire Daniel Kretinsky has got his eyes on our Royal Mail, and Kemi Badenoch has put out assurances like, don't worry, I'm not going to sell our Royal Mail unless there's assurances that they'll keep the right number of deliveries. So it's probably going to happen. They'll probably pay over the odds for it, because when you get into a buyout situation, the shares tend to rally, which means that the new owner will be forced to make cuts to staffing or services, possibly both, or they hike the cost of a courier or a stamp. So everybody wins. That's capitalism. Thanks for playing. I mean, for me personally, I never really understood how the Conservative Party could square the circle of being pro-law and order, pro-national security, and then go on to fire-sailing parts of our infrastructure to foreign investors. You know, they're like, oh, we're the Conservative Party. We will keep you safe geopolitically. Absolutely we will. Because you know what? We like privatization and we hate communists. So we will keep you safe from those evil communists over there. So we will. And I'm like, okay, you don't think there's some sort of national security plot hole here to selling off our rail network, our energy, and now the Royal Mail to foreign investors, really? Look over there. Some child is identifying as a tree. No, they're not. Bloody are. You just can't see them because they're a tree now. Next up to the Daily Express. Be warned, taxes will go up under Labour, says Jeremy Hunt. So clearly, as we are now campaigning for the election, you know, in all but name, they haven't announced a date, but we're basically in that mode now. You've got Jeremy Hunt out front and centre saying, don't vote Labour because they'll put your taxes up, which yields two responses from me. First, I don't think you get to hike them to the highest tax burden since the Second World War and then start ringing alarm bells like, oh my God, what would it be like if we had to pay high taxes? Oh, yeah, I know. Luckily, I've got a really good imagination. Secondly, you need to bear in mind that if and when Labour are forced to raise taxes, they're probably going to hit those with the broadest shoulders, right? So there's that. But more importantly, we need to interpret this for what it is. This is a political trap in the GE campaign period, right? What they're doing is the same thing as they do with the Ministry of Defence budget stuff. Do you remember that a couple of weeks ago? We're going to keep you safe, apart from selling off all of the infrastructure, but we're going to keep you safe with our £75 billion defence budget commitment. A commitment that, because they know they're about to get voted out, they will never be expected to deliver on. Similarly with taxes, who remembers Jeremy Hunt saying this? I don't really have any good news for anyone. The outlook is bleak. Tax cuts are unlikely. Or this, Jeremy Hunt, no tax cuts on the card before the next general election. But that was back when they still had the time and the bandwidth to try to get Labour's poll lead down. But now it's basically a foregone conclusion that Keir Starmer's Labour Party will almost certainly win this next election, save for any sort of, you know, weird news events like Starmer and Rayner get caught double teaming a goat or something. So now, just like the 75 billion for defence, because it's a spending commitment they'll never actually be held accountable for, they've been cutting taxes, haven't they? It's like a penny off this or 2p off that, or if we get back into power again, we'll do this to your taxes. You're never going to be in a position where you're going to be judged for that. In fact, what is actually going to happen is the Tories are going to continue to say, we would spend this on this, we would slash your taxes by that, and then when Labour get into Downing Street, they're going to look at like the coffers, the treasury, all of the balance sheets, the spreadsheets. They're going to go, hang on a second, wait, they did a tax. They had no way of paying for it. Oh, great. Well, now we're going to have to hike taxes to pay for their nonsense. I mean, this Telegraph headline, it says, Labour tax rises are as sure as night follows day, says Hunt. Really, these sorts of headlines should say, as sure as night follows day? Whoever gets into power, whoever wins the next election, your taxes will go up. Well, hang on a second, Ed. You must be confused, because everybody's telling me that Brexit is a storming success and that the economy's going gangbusters. Yeah, I know. That's because they're bullshitters. Finally to the Times for this story. Just up top, relief for homeowners as big lenders reduce their mortgage rates. Oh, sweet relief. Oh, thank Christ. Okay, good. Yeah, because some people's mortgages went up by like £900 a month to £2,000 a month. Like they over doubled. I wonder how much this sweet relief is that's on the way to homeowners. Let's take a look. Well, you'll be delighted to hear, Aid, that a 5-year fixed has gone from 4.7 down to 4.3, which means if your mortgage was 1.1k a month, it's gone down to just below 1.1k. Right, so I'd be £50 a month better off. That is right, Aid. It's 50 quid straight back in your pocket. You are welcome. What are you going to spend it on? Oh, a loaf of bread and 1 bottle of olive oil? Maybe. Actually, no, do you know what I'll do? I'll put it in a piggy bank. I'm going to save it for 6 months so that then I'll be able to afford 1 stamp.
Prince Andrew's a nonce burger.
Guys, that's it for this one. Live podcast tonight on YouTube, 7:30. Peace.